Alright, what is up, everybody? We are back with another edition of Everyday Hoops. Hope you guys are having a good one. Today, we're going to be talking about the Miami Heat. They have been really struggling and slumping over the past couple months. I want to talk about this Heat team, see what the future could look like for the rest of the season, for play-in, playoffs, all the stuff like that here in today's video. Thank you guys for the views on the videos and the shorts recently. I really appreciate it. If you do like the content around here, consider subscribing, liking, turn notifications, do all stuff like that. I really appreciate it. It really helps out a lot. We are on the road to 1,000 subscribers. We're getting closer and closer as the days go on. So all the support on the channel be really appreciated. You got Twitter and all that stuff down in the description below. And yeah, don't waste any more of your time. Let's get right into it. So the Miami Heat, they have been really slumping over this past few months. Right now, they currently sit at 29-38, which is ninth in the Eastern Conference. They are currently on a 7-game losing streak. Right now, they have they're 1-8 in the month of March, and even since 2025 started, in 2024 they were 16-14, which is 2 games over 500. They were pretty good. They were kind of just the entire year. They kind of just been floating around 500 for the entire year. I think the highest they've got to was 3 games above 500 was the highest they got to. But since the turn of the calendar year, since 2025, things have not been going great. I have numbers. All these numbers I'm about to say are since the start of 2025, since January 1st. So since January 1st, they are 13-24, which is bottom 10 in the NBA. 13-24. They fall 11 games under 500 in the month of 2020, in the year of 2025, and their numbers, especially on the offensive end, just don't look great. We know the Miami Heat have never really been a amazing offensive team. They've always been a gritty. We're gonna win on the defensive end and all that stuff. But right now they have the 26th. Again, since 2025, they have the 26th rated offense, 15th rated defense, and 21st in net rating. So having a bottom 4 offense while only having an average defensive rating, where the Heat usually are a top 10, top 7, top 8 type of defense. Since 2025, they're just average. So it's kind of not canceling out bad offense with amazing defense. It's bad offense and an average defense, which is not going to win you any games in the NBA. 21st in net rating. Again, their offensive numbers, they're 27th in points per game, 21st in field goal percentage, 24th in three-point percentage. They're not even getting to the line a lot. They're 29th in free throw attempts, so they're not even getting easy ones at the free throw line. 22nd in rebounds, 28th in points off turnovers, last in the league in second chance points, 28th in fast break points, 23rd in points in the paint. Everything. Most of their offensive numbers are either in the low 20s or just average. They don't really have too many things they're great at on the offensive end. And even defensively, they're average. Of course, they have good things they're good at, but some things that stick out. They're 25th in opponent three-point attempts, and they're 26th in opponent turnovers per game. So they're bottom 5 in terms of giving up threes, even though percentage-wise they're about average. So they're not horrible at giving up threes, but they're giving up a lot of them. And they're not forcing a lot of turnovers, which means they're not scoring a lot of points off their turnovers. So they're not getting easy ones in terms of points off turnovers, second chance points, or free throw line points. They're not getting all of those. And when you already are a struggling offense that doesn't have a lot of spacing and shooters and scorers, it's going to be really tough. And look at these last couple games. It's been very tough to score for these teams. I mean, look at these last 7 games. They haven't scored more than 109 points in these last 7. 107, 104, 109, 102, 90, 104. These last 2 games, they put up 91 points. And it's something that happens too often for this Miami team that they score less than 100. I mean, they've had like what 3 games this year, 4 games this year, scoring less than 90 points. Less than 90 points in today's NBA is kind of wild, and they're doing that a little bit often. I mean, they had a stretch in February. They had 3 games of scoring 86 points. Well, actually 85, 86 and 85. 3 games in the month of February where they lost obviously all those games. And they're not even a good team. They made these 86 points to the Brooklyn Nets, 86 points to the Atlanta Hawks. Like, that's not good at all. And yeah, this Heat offense is struggling. And a lot of the particular reasons is the fourth quarter. The fourth quarter for the Miami Heat, they have been very bad, especially some of these last couple games, man. Look at I mean, I think most of these games in the 7-game losing streak, they've had some sort of chance in the fourth quarter. I mean, the first game was against Cleveland, Well, first, a couple, start of March, they lost an overtime game to the Knicks, which is really good. I mean, a really good game, but they just lost at the end. Against Cleveland, where they had a pretty solid lead, and the Bam Adebayo turns the ball over in the fourth quarter. Doug Robinson, they set up a really good out of bounds play to tie the game. Doug Robinson steps out of bounds, and they lose that game. Next game against Minnesota, they go cold in the fourth quarter. and lose. Game against Chicago, another game where they go cold and lose, after having a lead. Against the Hornets, they had a really bad fourth quarter. They lose that game. Because the Clippers, they just straight up lost. And the Celtics and Grizzlies, they both also just kind of straight up lost. But the fourth quarter has been very bad for the Heat. And looking at the numbers, yeah, I mean, the numbers back it up too. All these numbers are in the fourth quarter of games. They have the 28th rated offense, 19th rated defense, and a 28th in net rating. So they have a bottom two. The only offenses and teams that they're better in the fourth quarter, in terms of offense and net rating, is Brooklyn and Philadelphia. Two teams that right now are trying to. Brooklyn is trying to lose, and Philly kind of has been playing just G Leaguers for the past month. And they're the only teams that are they're better in offensively in the fourth quarter, and even their defense isn't that great, 19th defensively. So they're not scoring off. They're horrible offensively, and they're below average defensively. You're not going to win games like that in the fourth quarter. Again, all these numbers are in the fourth quarter: 29th in points per game, 22nd in field goal percentage, 21st in 3-point percentage, 29th in free throw attempts, 28th in rebounds. So just they can't score in the fourth quarter. They can't consistently score in the fourth quarter, and it's been bad. A lot of that has to do with not really having a star anymore with no Jimmy Butler. The Jimmy Butler fiasco in that situation was kind of a stranglehold on the Miami Heat this entire year. That's the only thing anybody ever talked about with Miami was Jimmy Butler. And what's going to happen there? They got rid of Jimmy Butler. I actually like the acquisition that they got. I mean, getting Andrew Wiggins. They brought in Davion Mitchell. They brought in Kyle Anderson. I was like, I don't mind this, little package and this little, what they got for Jimmy Butler. And I thought I was confident the Heat were going to have a really good second half of the year because now it's like, all right, the Jimmy Butler era, it's out. The air is clear a little bit. Got Andrew Wiggins, Davion Mitchell, Kyle Anderson, all three feel like guys that can really contribute and fit with the Miami Heat. I thought they're gonna have a really nice second half of the year, and it's been a struggle in the second half of the year. And they're currently on a 7 game losing streak, currently like one of the most coldest teams in the NBA. And it looks really tough out there to watch the Heat team. I mean, Tyler Hero is phenomenal. Tyler Hero is having an all-star year, 23, 5, and 5. He has been taking over games. He's had games with 35 and 10 assists, 40 points. He's had big games, but it's tough to watch in the fourth quarter where it's really just give the ball to Tyler Hero and hope he hits some shots. That's a lot of games I watch in the fourth quarter. Miami is like Tyler Hero just hitting some miraculous shots that keep the Miami Heat in the game. Besides that, it hasn't been great. Bam Adebayo has not had a Bam Adebayo type of season. He has not had an all-star type year. He's averaging 17, 10, 4. It's the offensive. He's just not aggressive enough offensively. I mean, he's taking 14 shots. He's taking almost four less shots than Tyler Hero. He's taking less shots than Andrew Wiggins, who just got there. He just has not been. He's had games with just like 9, 10 shot attempts, 14 points, and it's like this Miami team cannot afford Bam Adebayo to not shoot the ball. Bam Adebayo should be the best player on this team, really. I mean, what he does the versatility he has, what he does in defensive end, offensively, how he can score, he can pass, he can rebound, he can do so many different things. Yeah, he just has not been the Bam Adebayo that we're expecting that the Miami Heat need. Miami Heat need an aggressive Bam that's going to go out and get you 20 to 25 points. You know, combined with the elite defense he brings. That's what the Miami Heat need, especially right now with no Jimmy Butler and they are struggling. And he's had a couple games in the past couple weeks, that have been good. But overall, consistently on the entirety of the season, he just has not been the aggressive and the all-star Bam Adebayo that we're used to seeing. And that's been a real struggle for me. That's been a problem. It's been a real problem and a struggle because the Heat need Bam. They need Bam. They can't afford a Bam that's taking 12 shots and scoring 16 points. They can't do that. They need a Bam that's going to go out and give you 24, 12, like 4 assists, a couple steals, and a couple blocks. That's what the Bam they need. And then Andrew Wiggins so far, since being Miami, has not been bad. I mean, 18 points, 4 rebounds, steal and a block. Now shooting the ball super well from 3. But Wiggins, I don't really mind the fit there. He's had his good games, he's had his bad games. He's still trying to get accustomed to the situation. And then the depth really for Miami just hasn't been great. Terry Rozier has been horrible this year, which really sucks because I love Terry Rozier in Charlotte. I love the Terry Rozier trade to Miami. I was like, this is the guy that they kind of need. Last year was not great, but then he got injured. So it was like, all right, we'll see what happens this year. And this year has just been really bad. I mean, this is the worst I've seen Terry Rozier play in a very long time. Like, it's been bad. I mean, he's shooting less than 40% from the field, 30% from 3, lost his starting spot. Like Terry Rozier has just been he's had get so many shots and so many moments. It's like what are you doing? Terry Rozier has just been bad. Of Jaime Jaquez, who had a really good rookie year. Unfortunately, just has not really been the same in his second year. Not shooting the ball super well. Hasn't is playing only about 20 minutes per game. Like he's lost a lot of his role on this team, which really sucks because he was supposed to be one of the guys that's gonna help this Heat team for the future, especially when Jimmy Butler left, and he just hasn't really done that. And then you're just worried you're playing a lot of veteran like Kevin Love still has to get minutes at 36. You know, Alec Burks is decent, but it's like I don't want to play him heavy minutes. Kyle Anderson is all right, I guess. Josh Richardson has barely even played this year. They're relying a lot on, I mean, Duncan Robinson has still been solid. Duncan Robinson does his thing. Nikola Jovic, he's dealing with an injury right now, but he has played. He's shown his moments. He still has to get a lot more consistent, with his stuff, but he hasn't been bad. And then I guess Khalil Ware has been maybe the bright spot of the year. I mean, Khalil Ware has a stretch in between like what December, January, where he was like really, really good, you know, and he's a starter now, so he should be solid. Davion Mitchell hasn't been bad since coming to Miami. Hayward Highsmith does his thing when he needs to. Even Pele Larson, a second round pick. Was he a second round pick or might have been undrafted? No, he was a second round pick. He's come in and provided some decent minutes. But overall, this Miami team just does not have enough firepower at all, and it's been a real struggle for them. It's been really tough to watch them, and it's just the obvious thing where they need a star. They need a star player right now. Tyler Hero, as good as he is, as amazing as he's been this season, Tyler Hero is not a superstar in this league. He could be a really good number two or number three, but he can't be the number one on a team that has the expectations that Miami Heat do have. They need a star. How do they get that star? I honestly don't know. That's more of probably an off-season type of question that needs to be answered. I mean, obviously they can't go out and trade for anybody right now and can't sign one for HD. But thinking about how they could get a star player to put on this team, I'm not really sure. Like, you go to the trade market again. I mean, they do have some contracts they can work, but do they have enough value to go get a star and pick value to go get a star? I don't really know. They might just have to hope that someone goes into free agency and someone's like, you know what, I want to go to Miami. Kind of like what happened to Jimmy Butler, where they were just Jimmy Butler saw Miami and Jimmy Butler's like, that's where I want to go. That's the spot where I can make my culture. That's the spot where I can put my culture in. That's the spot where I can, be the guy that I want to be. And he went to Miami and it worked out. You know, so they're just gonna have to find another guy like that or another guy that sees Miami. He's like, I could go over there. I could be the number one guy. I could build something with my Heat. They already have some really good players over there. I'm gonna go over there and we're gonna try to compete in this Eastern Conference. I don't really know how to get that other star. But we'll see what happens. But this Heat team really struggling right now. Really, really struggling. Really tough to watch. And it's getting to a point where it's kind of like, dang, like Pat Riley's the Heat are gonna have to do something this offseason. Like they can't just sit around and wait and be like, just gotta hope that next year the cards break our way, and next year we suddenly learn how to shoot the ball, and next year suddenly, like Pat Riley needs to do something. He had the whole Jimmy Butler situation that looked like he kind of lost him. I mean, in the end, because Jimmy Butler got to where he wanted to go. And now the Warriors are thriving right now. I made a video about them the other day. You can go back and watch that. And right now the Heat are kind of just stuck. They're stuck in mid. Being really mid. And in the NBA, mid is not where you want to be. You either want to be really good or really bad. I feel like you do. The mid is the worst spot to be in the league. So the Heat for the rest of the year are probably just gonna be like this, lose a couple games, win a couple games, be a playing team. If they do make the play-in, a match with Cleveland and Boston, good luck. If they even do make it, because I see a lot of Heat fans on the timeline being like, you know what, let's just go keep our first round pick, because I think they have certain protections on their pick that they might not get their pick this year. I'm not 100% sure on all the details around it, but I see a lot of Heat fans on timeline being like, you know what, let's just lose. Let's just lose so we can keep a pick and draft someone again, which I wouldn't really mind. Heat drafted. They need some more young talent, some other guys in there. So why not go get them? But yeah, this Heat team really, really struggling right now. But yeah, that's gonna be it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, if you enjoyed the content around here, consider subscribing, liking, turn notifications to all stuff like that. I'd really appreciate it. Really helps out a lot. Once again, we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, so all the support on the channel would be really much appreciated. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.